Alrighty, folks. Hello and welcome to Ask John Anything, episode 5. Just finished doing a good race at Darlington. Thanks to Nathan again for spouting on that. And we also did a pickup cup that was a lot of fun. So we got some questions rolling in here. First one from Cory Has No Life 13. When are you doing dirt next? Probably soon, Cory. Probably not tomorrow night because I'm going to be focused on the league race tomorrow night, but I would assume that Wednesday or Thursday streams are going to have some dirt in them for sure. Probably Wednesday, actually. That's when I'll likely have some time to do some dirt. Kaden Honeycutt 37, who is your favorite driver? Current is Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. All time is this guy right here over my left shoulder, Rusty Wallace. And then Carl Edwards was my favorite driver in the interim of those two. Hints. Are you switching to the new Camaro, and if so, why? I am planning on switching to the new Camaro for the A cars. I've just always kind of liked Chevys better. The Camaro is definitely the coolest looking of the three cars, and I really like the way that the Camaro looks. So I'll be switching to that for sure. The main reason that I switched to driving the Fusion in the Cup Series was I just thought that I had an image in my head of how it was going to look in Cory Busch purple, and so that's why I ended up switching to it. But I like how that color scheme, that Cory Busch Congress scheme looks even better on the Camaro, so I'm planning on switching over to run that. Mover Avenger 2, question. What was your favorite thing at the Greek Festival? My favorite thing at the Greek Festival was hanging out with my family and getting to see my little cousin, well, I say it's not that little, my little cousin Alexis up there on stage dancing with the other kids, doing the traditional Greek dances. That was really cool. Immortal Hitman, question, how many NASCAR races have I been to? I have been to the Auto Club Speedway, I think 3 times, Las Vegas once, and I saw the Busch Series race there too, so that's 5 if you're counting Busch Series as well. And then I've also been to the Kansas Speedway once, so that's 5 Cup Series races and 6 NASCAR races in total. Well, actually 7 if you count the truck race at Gateway that I did in 2017. Fractured Chain 5, Kokomo Speedway or the K&N car? K&N car every time. Every time it's anything or the K&N car, I'm going to say K&N car just because I have so much fun driving that car and that series is so much fun. Phony Pony, would I consider a perm? I might consider it, but after consideration, I would probably say no. I would probably not actually get it done, but I might consider it. Hints. If you're switching, I'm going to run the Cory Busch paint or something new. I'm going to continue running the Cory Busch paint scheme through the end of the season. So I started the season in Dynasty Racing League with that scheme. I'm going to keep running that paint scheme through the end of that championship season. For the Xfinity Series car and the trucks, I was running different schemes for those, and so I didn't really have a set scheme that I was running the full season in those. I switched those over at one point as we're closing on the campaign, so I was running all 3. I'm going to keep the Cup car as the Cory Busch scheme until the season ends, and then what it changes to is, in large part going to depend on whether or not Cory ends up deciding to run again. But I'm undecided yet on what's going to adorn that car for 2019. That kind of depends on some other factors and things like that. Kaden Honeycutt, do you have to buy the Camaro even though you already have the Chevy? So I don't know. I haven't looked into the details on that. From what I've heard is that if you've had this Chevy SS for less than 2 years, you get the Camaro for free. If you've had it for more than 2 years, then you have to buy it again. I am not sure if that's actually accurate. Don't quote me on it. So I will find out with the rest of you when they end up releasing the Camaro. Nathan Jurgensen, you can reconfigure an existing Cup track. Which track and what's your new configuration? That is an interesting question. I would probably... I'm going to have to think about this for a second. You know what, actually, and this is because it's due for a repave anyway, I would reconfigure Atlanta and put it back to the old, just straight up oval. So when they repave it, I would go back to just the straight oval. Get rid of the double dog leg. Just go back to a straight up oval, kind of similar to the way that Homestead is. I'd go back to the classic configuration for Atlanta. That, or reconfigure like a Kansas or Vegas, one of those two, probably Kansas, and reconfigure it to be, again, shaped in an oval. Get rid of the dog leg, and make it like an offset oval, kind of like Darlington or Gateway. So two answers for that. Hints, question. You need to go to Martinsville in October? I would love to go to Martinsville in October, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it out there. But that would be a lot of fun. Emperor J, what cacks for the K&N car should I get? I would get definitely like Bristol, Martinsville, but also like South Boston, Lanier. I haven't looked at what the schedule they're running, but like Irwindale is a pretty consistent one on that car's schedule. South Boston's on there pretty regularly. Basically a lot of the short tracks. What I would recommend doing when it comes to tracks, it's not the best value necessarily, but I would figure out what series you plan on running for a given season, look ahead, and then buy some of the tracks that you need in advance. So just the ones that you're planning on running. The way that I ended up doing it, which is not necessarily price optimal, but I kind of just, if I need a track, I buy the track at the time that I need it, and that's how I do it. Phony Pony, what is that mess behind you? Table. That is a sim racing rig that I kind of started building on my own, and I abandoned the project. I may go back to it. I haven't decided yet. Cory has no life. How does one land an airplane? Very carefully. Lincoln Willie, what's up, brother? Trace Hadley, first time here. What is the point of the gloves? They look cool. And they also give me, when my palms sweat, they give me a consistent grip and kind of take care of this. This wheel that I've got here is actually wrapped in Alcantara, so wearing gloves kind of protects the fabric that the wheel's wrapped in. Fractured Chain 5, tips for getting your I rating, getting up to my I rating. Don't wreck. Just run clean and consistent and focus on finishing the races, and then practice over time. Eventually you'll start building familiarity with the track, especially like the second, third, fourth times that tracks come back around. They'll kind of feel more familiar to you. So just practice. The I rating will take care of itself if you're running well and racing well. Cory has no life. Just the tip or the whole hot dog. If I've got a hot dog that's been properly grilled on a grill, I will eat the entire hot dog. Fractured Chain 5, would you get a handbrake and run rallycross? Possibly at some point. Right now, I don't have enough time in my weekly schedule to run all the different series and all the different cars that I want to, so I'm not really looking to add anything additional on top of that because I don't even have the time to run all the stuff that I want to run. Mortal Hitman, waiting for the Fusion to switch to the Mustang in the Cup Series. You will probably be waiting until this time next year for that to happen. Maybe not. Maybe after they get new... I think that working on new damage is some of what delayed the Camaro, so it's entirely possible that they get the new Mustang out earlier next year. But we'll see. Immortal Hitman says airplane follow the localizer and the glide scope. That's better advice probably than what I said. Phony Pony, what kind of steering wheel and shifter are you using? I'm using a Fanatec CSL Elite steering wheel, or Fanatic, as some say. I'm still not sure on the correct pronunciation on that. And then also a Fanatec or Fanatic Club Sport shifter. And then I have the Club Sport V3 pedals. Thank you, Move Avenger. Yeah, if you ever watch my live stream, there is an exclamation. You type exclamation mark wheel or bang wheel if you're a coder in there, and that will give you the description of what I'm running. Kaden Honeycutt, what is your worst track and least favorite? So my worst track right now, the one that I've struggled the most to get a handle on. Pocono is really tough. I've started figuring that out a little bit better. Indianapolis is still really tough for me. Auto Club, I've had a lot of troubles with that one, but my worst one, man, it's really hard to say. Probably Kansas, actually. Kansas or Kentucky would probably be my worst tracks. My least favorite car and track combination right now is Talladega in the Cup Series car, just because the draft model that they have is terrible. The inside line's super dominant. It's almost impossible to get a run going on the outside, so you just ride around Talladega holding it wide open and for however many laps they make you run. It's not the greatest. Phony Pony, do I tie up my parents' internet with all your streams? No, because I own my own house. This is my internet, and I'm the only one who lives here. So, nope, I'm not tying up anyone else's internet. This is all my stuff. Hints. When do you think the new sound model and damage model will come out? Season 1? I think that's probably likely. I don't know if the sound model and damage model are going to come out at the same time, but my guess would be that damage and day-night and possibly I don't know if AI is coming out in this update or the next one. I think some people have been talking like it's coming out in this one, but usually the year-end update, so end of season 4, week 13, season 4, that's when they do their biggest stuff. So I'm expecting the new damage model and day-night transition to come out then. I don't know about the new sound model. Cory has no life, 13. If you could punch any driver right on the chin, who would it be, past or present? I'm a pacifist, Cory. I'm not going to punch anybody. But, you know, look, there are some guys on iRacing that, you know, you guys have seen the videos that I've gotten into it with. If those had been real races, there might have been a couple races where I would have stormed over to the pit box and gotten my butt kicked. So, you know, but no, I'm a pacifist. I don't use a clenched fist for anybody. Hey, Creepy Van, how's it going? Fractured Chain 5. Do you think the day-night transition will come this season, next season, or after that? I'm hoping that I don't think that they're going to come out this season. I'm hoping that they come out for 2019. I mean, my hope at the start of the year was that they would come out before the Homestead race. I don't think that's going to happen. So now I think that we're looking at they'll probably try to have it out in advance of the 24 Hours of Daytona. Emperor J, thoughts on your Randy Bryce K&N paint scheme? Spent a few hours on earlier. Let's take a look at that. We'll switch camera for a second to show it. Randy Bryce for U.S. Congress. Looks pretty nice, man. You did a good job. Definitely like the way that you've done the line here. That's a good line. I think it looks good, brother. Well done. Very nice. Hints, favorite track to race or watch? So my favorite tracks to race are Dover and Darlington. My favorite track to watch a race at is Bristol, probably. Or actually, like it's getting to the point where actually Watkins Glen and the road courses in the NASCAR cars are some of my favorite ones to watch. They're just so good. Like the current modern NASCAR stock car is so ridiculously well suited to producing good racing on road courses. I just want to see more of that. The road courses for the past 5 or so seasons have been fantastic. And I think a lot of that kind of leads into the problems that we're having right now. I should mention Martinsville too. Martinsville is an awesome one to watch races at too. But the so when they redesigned the car to the car of tomorrow, they kind of made switched NASCAR stock cars from being the really good oval monsters that they had been in the past and kind of made them more similar to British / DTM / Aussie V8 touring cars. Not the modern ones, but they made them more similar to like the touring cars of about 5 to 10 years ago. And those touring cars of, at the what was now they're like 15 to 20 years ago, but the touring cars of like the late 90s, early 2000s were fantastic for road racing. So what NASCAR has done with the car of tomorrow and the Gen 6 car is essentially made their car very, very similar to, in my opinion at least, to what old school touring cars were like, which is why you're seeing this car struggle to produce really good racing on the big ovals, but it produces fantastic racing now on road courses. Ragtag, what is my favorite color of the alphabet? I tend to write in black ink, so I like I would write the alphabet in black. Sprint Car 96. They said the new damage model is for road only. Can you give me a link on that? I doubt that. The last thing I saw was that they were doing it for everything. So if it's actually for road only, I haven't heard that. I'm curious on what the source is for that. Jungle Cat Wizard, I don't want to punch you, brother. You know that. Fractured Chain said, do you think down the road AI could have an official series? I hope not. I really hope they keep AI boxed off in its own thing for training purposes only. I don't want them messing with AI and having that impact iRating. iRating right now is a closed loop where it can only go up and down in official races versus real life opponents. If they break that closed loop, I think it's going to taint the whole system. Kaden, what is my worst NIS race ever? That's, boy, gosh. Recently, that Darlington race yesterday was pretty awful. That was one of the first ones in a long time where I was just on my back foot and just flat off the entire time. There have been others. There was one at Atlanta that I did that was pretty terrible, where I had got myself a lap down, was getting back on the lead lap, stomped on it when we were going around the pace car, and just stuffed it straight into the fence. That was pretty embarrassing. I think that was before I was streaming. Emperor J could watch that Ambrose Keselowski finish all day, to be honest. Me too, brother. Me too. Even though the ladder basically dumped Kyle Busch on the last lap. Kyle Busch has done it to other people. That's racing at that point. I thought that was awesome. Sprint Car 96. Could be wrong. Gonna look where you saw it 1 second. Okay. Just post that when you do. Nathan, Bristol in the spring. Heck yeah. Eli, favorite track to race or watch? I said Dover and Darlington for favorite tracks to race on, and then favorite tracks to watch: Bristol, Martinsville, and basically any road course since the Gen 5, Gen 6 car. Caden Honeycutt, what are my thoughts on Ross Chastain? I thought he did really well. He made the most of a opportunity there. I thought he was very impressive. He qualified on pole, won the first 2 stages, and again, he was not racing. Not only was he beating all the guys in the Xfinity Series, some of whom, like Justin Allgaier, Elliott Sadler, and stuff like that, are in really, really good equipment, but he was beating Brad Keselowski in a Penske car. He was beating Kevin Harvick in a Stewart-Haas car. He was beating Cole Custer in a Stewart-Haas car. He was winning that race and beating everyone. So I thought that he did an amazing job. Fractured Chain 5. Do you think Monaco could come into iRacing at some point? Man, I've asked that same question. Monaco's tough because it's a street circuit, so getting them to close down those roadways for the day or two or however long iRacing needs to fully scan in a track would be really difficult. So that'd be tough. All right, so looks like I'm caught up with chat on the questions. That's usually where we call an end to Ask John Anything. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to get the credits rolling, switch over to the main view, and once credits are done, we're going to throw a raid to Caressel if he still is streaming. So here we go. Thank you guys very much, as always, for watching. Thanks to Warren D53, Jeff Price 1991, Cool and All, Redsman 1, and Dogman 883 for the biddies. Much appreciated. Thanks to my moderators. You guys are awesome. And special thanks, of course, to Nathan Jurgensen for the spotting and the coaching. That third place finish is a lot of credit goes to you on that. Thanks to my new followers, KDJ25, Kaiju Syndrome, Dogman 883, and Headline Live. Thanks to Jim Courtney for subscribing on the YouTube side. Thanks to Asphalt Schneider for the sub. Much appreciated. Thank you guys very much. That's going to call it for the YouTube side. Thanks for watching. Peace out.